Hello, today I want to show you how to scan a negative or a color slide as a linear RAW. Why to scan it as a linear RAW? Generally, no adjustment were applied on a linear RAW, and so you have the full image information for your post-processing. This is not a RAW file like your camera captured. It is a Tiff file. You can save your image untouched as possible. And the linear RAW is a file VueScan works with internally to apply the settings you have chosen if you save your image, for example, as a JPEG, as a normal Tiff file, a PDF file, or whatever you want. And linear RAW is the best format for achieving your image. You don't need to scan it again if you get updates for your image tool, for example. So let's get started with VueScan. And for scanning linear RAW, you need the professional edition of VueScan. At first, I recommend to set your VueScan to the default options, so you have the normal settings, the normal default settings VueScan offers. So, professional task, we want to scan to a file. I will have to switch on the scanner at first. Okay, you see, this is my scanner. This is the scanner talks to me. So, okay, he's ready. So, scan to file, the source is your scanner. The media, it's the best way to choose image because VueScan don't apply any algorithms we don't know. If you have a black or white film, if you have a color slide or a color negative, from my personal practice, this is the best setting you can get. You can edit your image later in post-processing, but this is you have not the same results if you choose another setting here as an image. For the first scan, try out if you get acceptable results with image, otherwise change these settings. Bit per pixel, we set it to 48 RGB because we want to have a full linear RAW scan. If you set this only on 24-bit, you get a RAW scan too, but VueScan apply so-called gamma curve 1.8 or 2.2. 64-bit means that you can edit the infrared channel with your program, but you normally don't need that, and you get even the same results if you take the 48-bit RGB channel, 60-bit per channel. And this settings include the infrared cleaning if you set this on. Though my preview, I always take the lowest one. The scan resolution, I always take the highest one. These flipped rotation skews and mirroring are rotations you can apply in your post-processing. Autofocus, I set it on scan. If it works for you, you can set it on preview or a manual, but this is up to your scanner. Auto scan no, auto save always on scan. Auto print, no, we don't want to print it. And auto repeat, I want to scan image by image and not an automatic way. And these settings are up to your scanner. They can change. Normally, you don't need to change these settings. But if you have high densities in your black or dark colors, you may get a better result. Try out if it works for you. Oh, we have the German words here. And I set it to English. Okay. I start VueScan. I restart VueScan. Okay, we have the English words. Okay, and we have no changes here. That is what I expect. Crop this set to maximum. You don't need to change this. Filter. There are two different ways you can save your raw images. If you save it, here is the settings you need. If you save it on scan, no changes will apply on your image. That means if you set this on save, VueScan apply your filter, your grain reduction, and eventually a rotation on your image. If you save it as a scan, no of these settings will apply on your image. Generally, VueScan works in two steps. The first step is scan your image, and the second step is process your image. And with this, you can set how you want to process your image. If you want to save it as a JPEG or a normal Tiff file or a PDF file. But we want to save it as a linear raw file, and so you can choose here if you want to have no processing on your image, or you want to have a light processing on your image. And only these three, infrared cleaning, grain reduction, and a form of rotation, will apply on your linear raw if you set the output setting on save. I show you that later in an image. So filter, it's on you if you set it on a light, medium or heavy. If your scanner supports ICE, infrared cleaning. Grain reduction, it's on you if you want to. The better way is to use a grain reduction in your post-processing image. Color, you don't need to change here anything because we want a linear raw, and balancing is the point you change your gamma curve, you change your black and white points, and this is something you do better later in your image tool, not in VueScan. Output, here you set the default order. The printer size is always the scan size. The magnification is not necessary for a raw PDF. It is only if you want to print it, and you can set it if you want to 100% of your size or 50% of your size. But we don't need it in as a linear raw scan. Auto file name you can. And here's one point. If you save your image as a normal TIFF file, VueScan apply a gamma curve, and we don't want that. We want a raw file. The raw file is saved as a TIFF file too, but without any adjustments. So we choose here a raw file name, what you like, raw size reduction, you don't need it, raw file type, here to 48-bit. If you want, if you want only the infrared mask, you can choose this one. Then you can edit only the infrared mask, and here it is included in your raw file, but sometimes you get edit it in another program, but then you cannot edit, and in 48 you can't edit this, and normally it's a useful way for your image. It is no better quality if you set the 64-bit or the 48-bit. It's only this. Here you can edit the infrared mask, and in 48-bit it is included and you cannot edit it. Raw output with scan. I say something to this before, save or scan. I set it on save at first because I want to have the infrared cleaning. Raw cell film. You can, if you want, but for full control, I don't know if it's really useful. Raw compression off, because I want to have the full information. Raw DNG format, you can activate this, but you have not more quality. You have only an additional container on your raw file that, for example, some programs like Photoshop or whatever, or another Adobe's programs can read and edit this, but you don't need it. Okay, the log file you can set on off. The log file is only if you have problems with this program, then every step of your settings will be logged, but you don't need it for a normal raw file. Okay, and then let's go with a scan. So you see here in this image, we have no scratches here, what we have in Vue Scan. Now he correct in the preview the look of the image, but in the next step we save it as a scan, and then you see that he don't apply any cleaning or rotating or grain reduction. Okay, let's start a scan again. So, and here we have the output as scan, and you see the scratches here. So this means VueScan haven't applied any adjustment. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. My next video is to to show you how to edit this in only a handful of steps in Darktable 3. And hope you are fine. And thanks for watching, and bye.